نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الحنين الكريم الرؤوف الرحيم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في شأن حبيبه: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضى بأن تصلي عليه. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Most respected ulama, my respected elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with the benedictions of the Holy Prophet Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, Allah has granted us the ability to be able to be observing the 10 days of Zul Hijjah. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, in a narration which is in the Jami' of Imam at-Tirmidhi, he states, An Abi Hurayrata radiyallahu ta'ala anhu anin nabiyyi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, ma min ayyamin ahabbu ila Allahi أن يتعبد له فيها من عشر ذي الحجة. He said there are no days more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He be worshipped in them than the 10 days of Zul Hijjah. So you can worship Allah for 355 odd days of the year, but there are no days that are more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you worship Him in and over and above the normal requirements, further requirements, than the 10 days of Zul Hijjah. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam then went on to say, يَعْدِلُ صِيَامُ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ مِنْهَا بِصِيَامِ سَنَةٍ. He says, fasting every day of them is the equivalent of fasting a year. Every single day. يَعْدِلُ صِيَامُ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ مِنْهَا بِصِيَامِ سَنَةٍ. He says, if you fast a single day or every 10 of the 10 days inside it is equivalent to fasting for the entire year. And he says, thereafter he went, وَقِيَامُ كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ مِنْهَا بِقِيَامِ لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ. And standing every night of them in prayer is the equivalent of standing on the night of Qadr. These 10 days. You know, we give, rightfully so, a great deal of honor and respect and due acknowledgement to the 10 nights, odd nights of the last 10 days of nights of Ramadan al-Mubarak. Alhamdulillah, partially due to social media, in recent years, I've seen an upsurge in people, speaking about and advertising and marketing the importance of the 10 days of Zul Hijjah. Unfortunately, it hasn't translated completely into, what we would call planned activity and active engagement in our masajid and so on, in terms of trying to bring the communities together in order to, to orient them and in order to inspire them and motivate them and assist them in being able to maximize the benefits of the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. May Allah firstly grant us the tawfiq and hidayah, inshallah ta'ala. And if we are not doing it collectively, which is not a requirement in the first place, but at the very least, and this is a very important message, in these 10 days and nights, as much as we engage in socializing and doing whatever we do normally over weekends and whatever it is inside there, at the very least, cut those down. I've noticed that whilst we will pay due respect to the month of 10 nights or Ramadan, no, don't do the last 10 nights. The 10 days, no, go ahead, party, carry on, do whatever it is. It is the last 2 days that you got a day of Arafah and Eid al-Adha. The rest of the 8 days, don't worry about. So we engage in all other useless, baseless, right, valueless activity whereas we could be enlivening our hearts in ibadah on these 10 days and 10 nights. So please, at the very least, as a leader of your family, as the head of your family, ensure that these days are revered. These days are spent observing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dhikr and worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the best of our abilities, inshallah ta'ala. That was just for the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Now we go on to the fundamental discussion that I'm discussing, that is my topic for today, which is Hajj, a celebration of life. There are approximately 4,200 religions. This includes the churches, the denominations, religious bodies, faith groups, tribes, cultures, movements, different ideologies, lifestyles, etc., etc., etc. Right? And this is currently the number of religions, if I may give a very broad term, right, that people subscribe to in one form or the other throughout the world. So if you look at the world's population, you have plus minus 4,000, more than 4,000 religions, church denominations, religious bodies, faith groups, tribes, cultures, movements, political, social, cultural, ideological, philosophical, political, right, throughout the world. And out of those 4,200 or so religions, there is only one religion that stands out in so many issues that it cannot even be compared to. And that is Islam. And if you look at the world's major religions, you can bring them down to plus minus about 15 or so maximum. Taoism and Buddhism and Shintoism and Sikhism and Buddhism and Hinduism and Christianity and Judaism and this ism. The major religions are about plus minus between 15 to 20. Right? Out of all of them, the second largest in terms of population after Christianity as a totality is undoubtedly Islam. But when it comes to Islam as a religion, in terms of modern definition of what we would call religion, Islam stands out in various aspects in spite of being the youngest of the so-called Abrahamic faiths. It's all Islam. There is no Judaism. Christianity doesn't exist. There is no such thing as the concept of Christianity. It's Islam. Judaism doesn't exist. It's Islam. Okay? Islam is regarded historically as the youngest of the three Abrahamic faiths. But in terms of its vibrancy, in terms of its impact, in terms of observance, right, and in terms of global impact, nothing beats Islam. And I'll give you one example of this. Right? Firstly, next week, Wednesday, regardless of what our lunar calendar date is here, next week, Wednesday, you will witness the world's largest human gathering ever of a group of people being in one place at one particular time, which is Wuquf of Arafah. There is no other event, whether it's the Kumbh Mela in India, which takes place every 4 years, or any other religious ritual or religious festival. There is no other expression of human beings gathering together, of all nationalities, of all colors, of all languages, right? In one given place at one given time, the way human beings gather at the plains of Arafah. And this has continued unabated practically, right, for the past 1,400 years. And if you ever wanted to know the concept of a global community, if you ever wanted to know what it is in terms of human anthropology, what humanity is, what human beings are, and what the tafseer of is Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'il lita'arafu. Whether lita'arafu is very important. Right? He said, "Oh humanity," Allah addressed humanity in the Holy Quran. Inna khalaqnakum. We have created you. Min dhakarin wa untha. Biologically, you are binary. Zakar wa untha. No, you do know what man this is, of course. Min dhakarin wa untha. You are male and female. Wa ja'alnakum shu'uban. And we have made you into communities and tribes. Wa qaba'il. And tribes. Lita'arafu. So that you may recognize one another. Now this word lita'arafu in the Holy Quran is very beautiful because the word arafah means to recognize. To recognize. And the scholars have stated that he says arafah is so called because people become acquainted with one another. Yata'arafuna during the days of standing there. So you stand there, if you ever wanted to know what we are in terms of biological, selection, we are male and female. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ اخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُم. And from amongst his signs are the differences in the colors of your skins and in terms of your languages. So you'll have a person speaking Korean, you'll have a person, for all the K-drama, you'll have a person speaking out there Japanese, Chinese, you'll get people speaking Afrikaans, German, French, English, Arabic, Urdu, Pashto, you name the language, they'll be there. Most festivals, most rituals, most events that take place will have a handful, a spatching of people from here or there, whatever it is. This is a global phenomenon. Languages, colors, shapes, sizes, you name it, all are standing at the place of Arafah or the wuquf of Arafah. Right? And this event that takes place is unique because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is once again affirming the very basis of human anthropology, the scientific study of human nature, human creation, human behavior, cultures, societies. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, like the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Kulluhum banu Adam. Every single one of them has originated from Adam and Hawa. وَآدَمُ خُلِقَ مِن تُرَابٍ. And Adam has been created from dust. He is not a product of evolution. He hasn't originated from the apes. He is a child of Adam. He is the son of Adam. She is the daughter of Adam and Bibi Hawa alayhi salatu wasalam. وَآدَمْ خَلَقَهُ مِن تُرَابٍ. And Adam has been created from dust. In terms of the challenges today, in terms of literally destroying the normative definitions of family, and the concept of the origins of the species, the origin of humanity, there is no greater, more spectacular response to the current LGBTQ. I can't even put those words on my tongue. Like I said, I don't like to use the term. Don't use it, right? In terms of how they want to upend the entire concept of what a family is from a biological perspective, anthropological perspective, cultural perspective, historical perspective. There is no greater spectacular event to prove to them doesn't exist than this event. No other religion has it. Show me a religion, show me a way of life, show me an ideology that has a mass gathering like this. Nobody. Only at Arafah. And interestingly, there is no sanad to this because there's a difference in terms of opinion, in terms of the authenticity of it. It is stated that the patriarch and the matriarch of humanity met at Arafah. Like you and I come there, يَتَعَارَفُونَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. We see our different tongues and languages and colors and whatever it is inside there, and different, denominations that we may be and so on, right? Adam and Bibi Hawa alayhi salatu wasalam met there allegedly in Arafah. And because they had been separated for a period of time after the descent from heaven, they recognized Adam, Hawa, they recognized one another, they met one another. Up until then, they were the only two human beings on planet Earth. So after allegedly meeting at Arafah, what happened? Human history began. Did you understand that? Because the original father, the original mother met at Arafah, after being separated for a period of time, and thereafter human history begins. So the only human beings on planet Earth that actually celebrate the origin of human species on planet Earth are Muslims by standing at Arafah. Right? That's one. Secondly, in terms of Arafah itself, it is a place where the patriarch Adam alayhi salatu met with the matriarch of humanity, Adam and Bibi Hawa, allegedly. It is the place where the patriarch of the three Abrahamic faiths, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, found himself at when Jibreel Amin was informing him about the rites and the rituals of sacrifice and Hajj. And he said, Araftu, I have recognized, I have realized. It is also, I'm using the word Arafah, I'm just playing with the word Arafah now. It is also called Arafah because it was on this plains according to the Mufassirun that Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, ya'tarifuna, that human beings, ya'tarifuna, acknowledge and realize their absolute humility before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They realize that, they realize their sins and they are sinful servants, and they realize that they have wronged themselves and follow in the footsteps of their father and mother, Bibi Adam and Hawa and Bibi Hawa, when they say, Qala Rabbana zalamna anfusana. Ya Allah, O our Lord, O our cherisher, O our sustainer, we have wronged ourselves. Anfusana. We have caused the most amount, we have inflicted self-harm, spiritually, morally, and on every level. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا. So we follow in the footsteps of our forefathers of acknowledging what separated us from shaitan, who refused to accept and acknowledge his sins, to refuse to accept and acknowledge his mistake and his errors and his shortcomings. And that's what makes us human. We err, right? Or the Holy Prophet says, every child of Bani Adam is a sinner. And the best of those are those who repent. That is what makes us human. It's not only our biology, it's our ability to acknowledge our shortcomings, to acknowledge our mistakes, to acknowledge that we've wronged ourselves, that we are not perfect, that actually spiritually perfects us. When you recognize, man arafa nafsahu, whosoever recognized himself, recognized his shortcomings, recognized his humanity, recognized the fact that he is the product of Habibia Adam and Hawa, and he's equal to everybody else, faqad arafa rabbahu. He will understand who his creator and cherisher and sustainer is. So as Adam alayhi salam and Bibi Hawa acknowledged their shortcoming and their error in judgment and said, Rabbana zalamna anfusana, all of their children amongst the ummah of Rasulullah come on that day of Arafah and also acknowledge their shortcomings, their humility before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and their submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and their acknowledgement that nobody can forgive them, nobody can overlook their shortcomings, nobody can forgive their sins the way Allah does. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam stated that whosoever leaves Arafah on the day after wuquf, he must have absolute yaqeen that he has been forgiven. And when he completes the complete rituals of Hajj, he is spiritually reborn the way his mother gave birth to him. Kayomi waladatu ummu. That's the degree of purification that comes from just saying, Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana وَتَرْحَمْنَا لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ فَتَلَقَّى آدَمُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ كَلِمَاتٍ فَتَابَ عَلَيْهِ. Allah inspired these words to Adam. So the children of Adam recite the same thing on the plains of Arafah. Okay, let's go to the next one. In terms of a monument, you have the Vatican City, you have major temples throughout the world, you have major churches, you have Buddhist monasteries, you name them. You've seen plenty of them throughout the world, whatever it is. There is no single monument in the world that is more revered, that is more actively visited, that is circumambulated more than the Holy Kaaba. There's no religious monument. The Vatican City is a city on its own, right? You have St. Peter's Cathedral there. No number of people on a given day, or even for that matter throughout the course of the year, will come and visit that place, which is the Holy Grail as far as the Roman Catholics are concerned. The way the Kaaba is visited daily. There is no other monument, there is no other temple, there's no other church, there's no other place of worship that is revered and visited, and most importantly, circumambulated. Show me one religion that has tawaf around it, regularly the way we do. Yeah, people go around the mandir here and there, but it's not something which is part of a ritual. 24/7, 24/7, practically since the era of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, consistently without a break, illa masha'Allah, people have been circumambulating the Kaaba. It's not existent in any other religion except Islam. Did you realize that? Okay. Thirdly, there is the most revered object on planet Earth is what? Buddha's truth. That's in Sri Lanka. I went and I visited it as well. I couldn't see it, but right. Buddha's truth. Which one? What's the most revered object on planet Earth? Hajjul Aswad. No other religion has this. Do you know that? Christianity doesn't have it. Judaism doesn't have it. Hinduism doesn't have it. With all the multiple thousands of deities, Ganesh and Lakshmi, all of you take them and they have the Ganesh, throw it into the sea. Throw it into the sea. Hajjul Aswad is a jewel of paradise. There is no greater revered object on planet Earth and a more blessed relic on planet Earth than Hajjul Aswad, because it comes from Jannah. And it is the greatest symbol of Tawheed. Do you know that? Millions of people kiss Hajjul Aswad. Not one single person has worshipped it till today. Not one single person has worshipped it till today. Not one. One of the greatest symbols of Tawheed, very quickly, right? In terms of life itself and sustainability, life's most precious resource is water. And nobody celebrates life's most precious resources from Ar-Razzaq the way you and I do. It is a constant flowing, natural source of basic sustainability on planet Earth, which is represented by Zamzam. It has continued to provide water from the time the angel placed his best wings and the water gushed out, and Bibi Hajar said, Zamzam, Zamzam, stop. And she built a dam around it. The Prophet of Allah said, had she not built a dam around it to contain the water, Zamzam would have been a lake that would have flowed throughout planet Earth. In spite of the fact that it's not a lake anymore, is there any place on planet Earth today that Zamzam is not available? It has continued to provide water for humanity from one single source for the past 3,000 to 4,000 years. Nobody has Ganga. Ganga is a river. It flows. That's a river. This here is just a fountain. You can call it a well. You can call it whatever you want to. Ganga is the most polluted on planet Earth currently. Right? But Zamzam, Allahu Alam, whether they purify it now or they do something, whatever it is inside, I don't know that. But in terms of a precious resource, only Muslims have sacred water. Sacred water. We have it because it's world's most precious resource. Largely, fifthly, there is no greater ritual that is performed on planet Earth collectively than the ritual of sacrifice. Do you know that? No other religion has this ritual. Show me a religion. Show me a way of life. Show me an ideology that has a ritual sacrifice that can compare to Eid al-Adha. Nobody. If you work out, I just looked at estimates, there are plus minus 200 million land animals that are slaughtered around the world every single day. That's plus minus 72 billion a year. That includes pigs, cows, the sheep, whatever it is. Work out if there's 1.7 billion Muslims in the world. And let's take out the children, the elderly people, the poor. Let's take out a whole lot of them out of it. And I'll bring it down to 250 million. And I'm being very conservative. You understand that? It could be twice that amount. It could be 500 million on one possibly given day or within 3 days, Eid al-Adha. Plus minus anywhere between 250 to 500 million animals are slaughtered for the sake of Allah. Not for the sake of personal consumption, not for the purpose of personal satisfaction, or not for the purpose of consumerism, but purely and fundamentally for the sake of Allah and to be given to others. The Prophet of Allah recommended 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. 2/3 of it actually goes away to others, friends and poor and needy. 1/3 you may keep for yourself, but the vast majority of it people give away anyway. Show me one charitable drive of distribution of meat and food like it takes place on the day of Eid al-Adha in any other religion, or for that matter even Eid al-Fitr. Christmas is regarded as the biggest consumer event on planet Earth, right, in terms of cash. If we were to work out, the Prophet of Allah say, with the exception of the poor people, 1.7 billion people giving out fitrah in one day. Christmas is over days that people are collecting money. In one day, the amount of fitrah that is collected as sadaqah, as collective charity, as we do a collective sacrifice, no other religion has it. Do you know that? Think about it. Think about it. Nobody. Nobody. And then ultimately, Arafah for us commences with Adam. Right? In the middle is Ibrahim. And finally Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And on the day of Arafah, on Yawmul Jum'ah, which Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu regarded as the day of Eid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this verse, which the Jews even acknowledged that if this was revealed to them, they would have celebrated as a day of Eid, as a festival. And what is it? And that's exactly what we do. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. Today, humanity, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. Today I have perfected religion for you. وَأَتْمَمْتُ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعْمَتِي, and have completed my favors upon you. وَرَضِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا, and have chosen Islam as the ultimate deen, the ultimate way of life. There is no ayah in any religion, no verse, divinely revealed verse in any religion that can compare to this ayah. Do you know that? Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. And the claim that is made here cannot be challenged by anybody on planet Earth. Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum. Because it is the most comprehensive, most complete legal, social, ethical, moral, spiritual way of life, covering every aspect and every dimension of existence through the Quran and the authentic Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nobody has it. Nobody has it. But why did I say that Hajj is a celebration of life? Now I want you to understand that this is one of the biggest issues that is affecting people in terms of how they conduct their lives and how they view life. Everybody has this ultimate dream and wish and desire, rightfully so, that I want to be happy. I want to be comfortable. I want to have no problems. I don't want to have issues. I want to be physically well. I want to be mentally strong. I want to be financially independent. I want to be intellectually illuminated. I want to be politically emancipated. I'm coming up with ideas in my head, right? But you understand the concept. Everybody wants it. I want the best life. I want to live the best life. How realistic is that? How realistic is that? In terms of human history, you need a good dose of reality, what life is all about. And Hajj is that celebration of real life. Right? خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. Verily we have created man to strive, as we said, to strive. Allah hasn't created you to live a comfortable life, to have everything that you desire, right? To live a life of absolute pleasure and hedonism and, no problems, don't worry, be, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. And Hajj is the celebration of that. I'm going to go through it very quickly because of time. Number one, what is it? You and I, the thing that we detest the most is when we are challenged in life. When we face any type of difficulty, trial, and tribulation in life. We don't want it. We don't want any trials. We don't want any tribulations. We don't want any difficulties. We don't want any adversities. We don't want any problems. We don't want no obstacles in life. But life is not like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ. You will certainly be tested. بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ. With a little bit from amongst them. Khawf, fear, anxiety, concern, worry. Who doesn't go through fear? We have 101 fears, anxieties on a daily basis. بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ. And hunger, poverty. وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ. One of the biggest calamities for us is if we lose our wealth. وَالْأَنفُسِ. And even greater than that is to lose our life or the life of our loved ones. وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. And to lose the fruits of our efforts and our efforts and our endeavors. وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ. But give glad tidings to those people who face these adversities, these difficulties, whether it's a loss of wealth, whether it is poverty, whether it is a loss of life, whether it's a loss of children, whether it's any type of calamity. If they say, Inna lillah, if they adopt the philosophy, verily we belong to Allah, wa inna ilayhi raji'un, and we are going to return to Him. Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ وَرَحْمَةٌ. Upon them is Allah. Allah salutes them. Allah showers His mercy on them. But I'm not interested in that point. I just want to introduce that. Immediately thereafter, what did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Inna safa wal marwata min sha'airillah. Allah, who is the divine Lord, right? Quran is His kalam, could have chosen to have that ayah placed anywhere. He could have chosen that ayah to be placed anywhere. But after discussing life's difficulties, adversities, problems, calamities, obstacles, pain, grief, fear, sorrow, loss, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you an example. He said, Inna safa wal marwata min sha'airillah. Verily Safa and Marwa are from amongst the signs of Allah. Allah is telling you, reflect on it. Reflect on Hajar. Reflect on sa'i, striving, endeavors in life. And what is it? Accept life's challenges. Who did that? Bibi Hajar did that. Ibrahim alayhi salam turned around. She asked him one question. Is this from Allah? She only asked him one question. Is this from Allah? And he just nodded. He said, if it is from Allah, then Allah will take care of me. Accept life's challenge. And after that, face up to them. She stood there, she realized, I got a baby who's being suckled by me. It's an uncultivable land. right? It is a hostile land. It is a barren land. She's facing up to the reality. She didn't stand there and say, well, you know what, excuse me, I'm the wife of a Nabi, do you know? Angels, where are you? And God, where are you? Your bosom friend's wife, that's me. Khalilur Rahman's wife is me. I am Hajar. I'm a Nubian princess. I'm from royal descent. She didn't say that. She faced up to those challenges. She took it on. She realized where she was. And what did she do? She confronted her fears. And that's what life requires of you. Face up to your life challenges. Confront your fears. And what is the fear? Survival. What did she do? She didn't sit there and say, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, send down the angel. No. She made sa'i, she strived. Sa'i means to strive. She walks between the hillocks of Safa and Marwa. She strives. And when you strive, when you face up to your fears, when you accept life challenges and confront all your fears, what happens then? You will finally overcome adversity. And that's what Zamzam teaches you. Zamzam is water. Water signifies life. Water signifies life. Water signifies rebirth. Water signifies purity. Water signifies anything that is going to sustain you. And that's what overcome adversities does. It gives you a new perspective on life. Zamzam is an answer from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that even in barren deserts, from the depths of the earth, if you strive and you make an effort and you acknowledge and you face up to your challenges and you overcome your adversities and you face your fears, Allah, they say there's a line in Urdu, he says, वो हुस्न दो आलम है अदीब उनके करम से सहरा में भी अगर फूल खिलाएं तो अजब क्या. They use the example of the Prophet of Allah. He's the beauty, spiritual beauty of the world. And by virtue of his prophetic grace, even if in deserts flowers begin to bloom, what should be so surprising? And this is exactly what happened in the desert. Water began to gush. Why? You can overcome your adversities. That's what Zamzam signifies. Then we come to the next aspect, acknowledging our shortcomings. Arafah is all about that. Arafah is all about acknowledging your shortcomings, acknowledging how insignificant we are. Acknowledging how insignificant we are. Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani says, in Arafah, we come to be used in recognition of the modest humility of the pilgrims, their self-effacement, their patience in supplication and in the face of all kinds of tribulations and endurance of extreme hardships and difficulties in order to perform worshipful ibadah. It's a pity I don't have time to repeat that for you. Acknowledge it. I can't do it without you. My Lord, I can't. I've recognized how weak I am. I've recognized how insignificant I am with millions of people around me. I've recognized how I don't have the mental and spiritual and physical capacity to endure your heat, to be dressed in this manner here, to have traveled so far at that type of cost. That's the reality of what we see, right? Very quickly, because I want to end up, inshallah ta'ala. All right? Mina, after you acknowledge your shortcomings, don't come back from there arrogant, walking inside there, I'm God's gift to humanity. You learn nothing. Going to Mina is about fighting your own personal demons. Arafah one day, Muzdalifah a few hours of the night, 3 days in Mina. 3 days in Mina. And what's Mina all about? Bloodletting, kill, stone, shave. It's all about fight. It's all about striving. It's all about taking on your demons. Fighting your enemies, your own personal enemies. It's about standing there and taking a good look of your Yawmut Tarwiyah, the 8th day of Zulhijjah when you come to Mina. Yawmut Tarwiyah. Tarwiyah, Rawwa, means to literally to ponder, to deliberate, to think about it. You got 3 days. Go out there and consider by who am I? Who am I? How much of toxicity do I have in me? How many times have I hurled insults at everybody? Think about it. You're pelting stones. How many times have you pelted stones? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Let the one who has never sinned cast the first. Yeah. How many times have we done that? Disparaged people's reputations, slandered people, right? Hurt people. abused people. And how many times have we really taken the sunnah and thrown it at ourselves? Bhai, kya hasi aati hai mujhko hazrat-e insan par. You know, the human being makes me laugh. Fi'l bad khud kare, lanat kare shaitan par. He does the wrong and he curses shaitan. Really? Overcome your demons. Okay? Then, you do the sacrifice. What's life all about? Right? Taking difficult decisions. Life is all about taking difficult decisions. Inni ara fil manam. Verily, my son, I've seen in my dream. Anni azbahuk, that I am sacrificing you. Fandur madha tara. What is your opinion, my son? Father and son take a very difficult decision. Qala ya abati, oh my father, dear father, beloved father. Not the one who's just going to murder me now, allegedly. Qala ya abati, my beloved father, my loving father, you are going to cause me pain. You may take away my life. You're going to take a knife and put it to my throat, the one that you love so much. You're going to cause me so much of harm. Ya abati, if'al ma tu'mar. Do as you have been commanded to do. Is there any tougher decision that you can make in life? Is there more difficult decision that you have to make in life? Whether to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or to obey your own emotions, your own parenthood, your own selfhood, your own wishes, your own desires. And it's all about making the tough choice. Make the tough choice. And the son made the tough choice. Ya abati, oh my father, if'al ma tu'mar. Do what you've been commanded to do. And then he said, Satajiduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. Life is about making those tough choices. And ultimately, it's about sacrifice. Sacrifice. Not about self-indulgence. Life is not about self-indulgence. Life is about sacrifice. And the ultimate one is self-sacrifice. And self-sacrifice for who? For the sake of Allah. This is what Hajj is. That's the true celebration of life. You're not celebrating life, right, at one fancy resort, at one island. You're not celebrating life in Monaco. You're not celebrating life in Dubai. You're not celebrating life at one of the festivals that take place in all of these Middle Eastern countries and European countries and the Glastonbury festivals and God only knows what. You're not celebrating life there. You celebrate life in Hajj. That's the celebration of life. Allah give us the tawfiq and hidayah, inshallah ta'ala, to live this when we go for Hajj, inshallah ta'ala, and experience this whilst we are here. If you look at all the things that the Prophet of Allah said, he recommended, it's a sunnah that you don't shave, you don't clip your nails. You do very similar to that which the man in Ihram does. Only after he has sacrificed will he remove his hair. In Arafah, to be in a state of siyam, to be in a state of fasting on the day of Arafah. Right? The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, engage in ibadah on these 10 nights. Be like the muhrim, right? The guy who's immensely, intensely engaged in ibadah of tawaf of the Holy Kaaba and so on there. Mimic this. Stand up. Arafah is Arafah on Wednesday. Our day of Arafah is Thursday, that's fine. But where will the Hujjaj be? Wednesday. Stand outside. Stand outside. Just be with them. Pick up your hand. Be with them. Pick up your hand and make dua. What do you think? Angels are only confined to Arafah only. Anybody outside Arafah, dua is not accepted this year. Sorry. Come back. Be with them. Be with them. Teach your children the significance of these rituals and these rites of Islam because it's unique to us. We need to acknowledge it and celebrate it.